Sam Heughan broke my heart. Caitríona Balfe in tears. I shouldn't have loved him. It all started with that look. I used to think things like this only happened on screen, forbidden love, passionate love, then broken without warning. But real life, it turns out, is more painful than a bad script. I am Caitríona Balfe, a professional actress who entered the film industry with the hope of simply living out her passion. Then fate brought me to Outlander, a fateful role, and also the beginning of a storm I could not stop. Sam Heughan. Sam was more than just a co-star. He was the light, the magnetic field that made me stray from everything that was certain in my life. His warmth, his smile that melted the coldest heart. I was caught off guard. We met on the set of the first season. It was a cold day, the wind blowing against my face as if to remind me this is reality. But the way Sam looked at me that day, not Jamie looking at Claire, but Sam looking at Caitríona, left me confused. He never said anything explicit. No words of love, no gestures that crossed the line. But between the accidental touches on set, the longer than necessary hugs after each scene, I began to daydream. When reality and script blurred, I was married. He was a good man. But Sam, he made me feel like I was the only one in a room full of people. Every time the camera stopped, his eyes never left me. At first I thought I was just confusing the character with the real person. But the feeling, it was too real. During one shoot in Scotland, after an emotional bed scene, I found myself leaning on Sam's shoulder longer than I should have. He didn't push me away. Instead, he whispered, "I wish we weren't just Jamie and Claire." I was speechless. That night, I didn't go back to the hotel. We sat in the car together, talking about everything, except the taboo hanging between us. I wanted to retreat, but I also wanted him to hold my hand and never let go. Love shouldn't exist. Sam never forced me to do anything. He respected me, always emphasizing that he wouldn't break anything if I didn't want to. But it was that kindness that was the trap. I began to dream of a different life, one where I was free to love him without fear of anyone's judgment. We didn't do anything wrong, but every time I looked at each other, I felt like I was betraying him. I tried to suppress those feelings, tried to ignore the burning eyes, but my heart wouldn't listen. One day, while filming season 4, he said to me, "I'm getting a girlfriend, Caitríona. It's true. I need to move on." My heart felt like it was breaking. I nodded, congratulated him, then quietly went into the dressing room and cried. I shouldn't have loved him. I shouldn't have let myself daydream. I shouldn't have believed that we could have an ending. The empty days, after those words, I felt like every scene had turned into torture. I was still Claire, he was still Jamie. But there was an invisible wall between us now, cold, thick, and unbreakable. He no longer hugged me like before after each scene. There were no more affectionate glances or casual but trembling touches. Sam belonged to someone else, though it was never made public. I tried to keep things professional. I smiled when the director shouted, "Cut." I talked to the crew as if nothing had happened. But at night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and wondered, if I wasn't me, if I wasn't tied down, would I have him? I don't know when I fell in love with him. Maybe it was the first time he fixed my hair on camera. Maybe it was when he texted me to ask if I'd had dinner even though it was the middle of the night. Or maybe that first hug at the end of season 1, when I was shaking and he just silently held me tight. Reunited in tears. That year, we went to a film event in Paris. It was the first time I met Sam's girlfriend, a young, beautiful, talented actress. She was confident, radiant, and had the look in her eyes that I saw in the mirror every time I looked at Sam. I stood there, drinking red wine, holding a frozen smile on my face. Sam approached, and his eyes seemed to apologize to me, an unspoken apology, because no one was at fault for this. I just nodded and turned away. That night, he texted me a single line, "I miss you." I didn't reply. Broken in silence, that silent love was killing me every day. I was in a marriage that I didn't fully care about, and at the same time I couldn't have the person I loved. I started to fall apart. One night on set, I burst into tears as soon as the scene started. No one understood what was going on. Only Sam stood in the far corner, speechless, his eyes red. One night, I decided I had to say goodbye, not to Sam, but to my own feelings. I wrote him a letter. Not for you to read, but for me to free myself. Sam, I love you. I never said it, because I was afraid. But now I have to say it, so I can stop hoping. I thought we could be destined. But destiny doesn't come this late, does it? You chose a different path. I have to too. Thank you, for making me believe in love again, even if only in my dreams. Goodbye. I burned the letter right after. One last time. A few years later, Sam and I were still working together. The cracks weren't as deep as before, but my heart wasn't the same. We still acted out love scenes, we were still the most beloved couple. But now there was only regret between us. Once, after a scene at the end of season 6, when the crew had dispersed, he walked up to me. The rain was falling softly. If things had been different. I think what will we be? He asked. I looked at him for a long time. The old feeling came back like a wave. We will be the most beautiful thing that should not exist. I replied,